Welcome back. Time for commodities. And oil markets held around 7-month lows today as investors focused on persistent signs of rising supply that are undermining attempts by OPEC and other producers to support prices. So what does this mean for Nigeria? Let's talk to Bolanle Olutose, a research analyst with Financial Derivatives Company, here in the studio with me. Hello, Bolanle.
Hi.
A rainy day today. Did you find it difficult getting here?
No.
With the traffic out there?
Well, there's traffic, but I think it subsided by the time I left.
All right,
Yeah.
that's very good. Now, rising oil supply seem to be proving difficult for OPEC. Does that mean that OPEC is losing its position as a cartel, like they call themselves?
Yeah. So first of all, you know, oil is currently trading at about $47 per barrel. It's surprising because this was the price we saw the day before OPEC first decided to, you know, cut output. And it's like, why are we back here? Is what OPEC doing not enough for, you know, to push oil prices back up? But our research has just revealed that, you know, it seems like the market has had enough. Like the effect of the initial output cut has been felt in the market, and any further output cut is not, or the extension of the output cut like they've just done, is not having any impact on, you know, oil prices anymore. And moving back to the supply side, because, you know, the supply is the major, you know, reason why oil prices have been resilient. U.S. shale producers are still, you know, adamant about, you know, producing more oil, more shale oil into the market. You know, as long as oil prices are above $40 per barrel, they are, you know, they're still profitable in producing oil. Nigeria, obviously, with the reopening of Forcados, oil production has increased to about 1.6 million barrels per day. And Libya as well. You know, Libya oil production is currently about 900,000 barrels per day. So, you know, with these added supply into the market, we don't expect any other thing to happen with oil prices. But at the same time, looking at the demand side, world demand has been declining. From what we've seen is Japan imports of crude oil has declined by about 14%. Same with India. India imports have also declined by about 4.2%. So the demand is not picking up. Supply is, you know, as high as what we've seen in the market. And, you know, with this shaky fundamentals, we obviously expect that, you know, oil prices will keep trading lower.
Wow. Now, oil price only $3, you know, above Nigeria's budget benchmark. Are you concerned about this?
Yes, it's definitely a cause for concern because, you know, our oil receipts come from, you know, oil prices, you know, trading as high as, you know, $50 per barrel. But what we should actually look at is our revenue profile at the moment. Our revenue profile is weak, you know, with oil prices, you know, going lower as the way it is now. It threatens our revenue profile. Our debt service is about 66% of revenue. Our fiscal deficit is as high as 2.3%, and the threshold for a sustainable economy should be about 3%. Shouldn't, you know, surpass 3% of GDP, and we're getting closer to that figure. So, you know, we have shaky fundamentals when it has to do with our budget, but at the same time, you know, it's stated in the budget that our oil production should be about 2.2 million barrels per day, and we haven't still gotten to that level. So it seems like if we, you know, ramp up our production to that point, then it should trade off, it should balance out, you know, the effects we're seeing with oil prices.
Now, with the foreign reserve, or the external reserve now down at about $30, do you see the central bank sustaining its intervention policy in the foreign exchange market?
Well, you know, the question of sustainability has always, you know, come up, you know, with the idea that, you know, oil prices are declining, so what would the central bank do? But I think at this point, the central bank wouldn't do anything different in the short term, but in the long term, they'll definitely look for ways to make sure that, you know, our exchange rates are not, you know, affected by this decline in external reserves. But it definitely comes to question, and that, you know, the declining reserves, how would they affect, you know, the CBN's policies? All
right, let's not just talk about what the central bank will do, but what about the fiscal authorities looking at what we have in our 2017 budget, and then having the oil price go down now as much as 4 to 7. So what then happens?
So, you know, with the 2017 budget, there's a lot of borrowing involved. So I think that's the main focus of the government at the moment. You know, with most of our capital expenditure, as seen in the 2017 budget, a lot of it comes from, or a lot of it's going to be funded by, you know, our borrowings. Like, we just recently heard that the diaspora bond of 300 million has just been, you know, approved. It's just been done. So, you know, with that aspect, we've seen that the government is trying to, as not so much depend on, you know, our revenue as much, but also, you know, borrow from outside as well.
All right. So what would all of this mean for the domestic market, commodities market as such?
At this point, all prices are not directly affecting domestic commodities markets at the moment. You know, we've seen seasonalities affecting the commodity prices. We've seen the Ramadan season, which is coming to an end. You know, when you have the Salah period, a lot of demand comes into play. You know, we've seen that power hasn't, you know, picked up the way we wanted to. So those are more direct impacts on commodity prices. But regarding oil prices, we definitely should see a long-term impact on commodity prices, because if salaries are not paid, then there's no trickle-down effect of, you know, the funding in the economy.
Right. Now, do you see OPEC, with the way the prices are going, do you see OPEC really doing anything to ramp up prices? At this point, OPEC hasn't really done so much apart from, you know, extending output cuts. But I think that they'll definitely go back to the drawing board, you know, examine what, you know, impacts oil prices. And they can't obviously do anything about U.S. shale, but they should either deepen cuts or, you know, put in Nigeria and Libya as part of the countries that would also, you know, face the output cut extension. But at this point, we don't know. It's too soon to tell what OPEC is going to do. But I definitely believe that, you know, they'll take all these kinds of ideas into their schedule. Now, as a research person, what is your short to medium term outlook for oil prices?
Well, for oil prices at the moment, short term, so in a week, we don't expect any massive changes to oil prices. At most, or extremely, we expect them to, you know, trend downwards, but nothing, you know, surprising right there.
All right. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Bolanle. Bolanle Olutosin is a research analyst with Financial Derivatives Company here in Nigeria. And finally on the program, collapsed state-owned Botswana copper and nickel producer BCL Limited will be sold off piecemeal after the company failed to find a buyer. BCL was placed under provisional liquidation in October after the government said it could not afford the 7 billion pula needed to keep the company running. Botswana's oldest and biggest copper mine ran into trouble because of low commodity prices, diminishing ore grades and the ever deeper shafts needed to extract its resources. BCL owed creditors about 1 billion pula when it was placed under provisional liquidation. And that's it on the program. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimezie Obi Iwago.